Hi, welcome to TFR Success Stories powered by Linode. Today we have with us Anders Burden and Magnus Appelquist, founders of CloudNet Sweden. Anders and Magnus, first of all, it's really great to have you on the show. Before we start, I want to know a little bit about your own stories because you have a long career in IT. So you can start, Anders. You can start and tell me a bit about your own journey.
I think I've been fiddling with computers ever since I was a young child. I was always been interested in technology, and then eventually it turned into a job. So I think I've been doing this since probably 1995 or 97, and been doing a lot of different things.
So when it became your job, what kind of job you were doing?
Yeah, so I started with IT support, helping people that have problems with their computers, and then from that moved towards systems administration and a little bit of development, and then from that learn more about Linux, and that is where we are right now.
Awesome, Magnus. Now let's hear your story. When you started, your journey.
Yeah, it's about the same. I would say technology. It's all about technology. I've been fiddling with the circuit boards and computers, and from the beginning I was working more with electronics, and which later on become more and more programming, because embedded systems tend to use more and more complicated. The circuit boards became more and more advanced and turned into marker chips instead. So it was more and more programming. And from the programming side, it was more and more Linux systems and bigger servers that I was working with. So in the beginning of my career, I started as a consultant and working on a lots of different companies. And it's really interesting to work on different companies. So because you can see how other organizations try to solve their problems, and see what they should do and what they don't, and what's the difference between a failing project and a successful project. It's a really difficult thing that I learned when I was working in different places. And also the people skills. It's really important to see how people interact with each other, and the interest I had in technology slowly moved more and more towards people. See what kind of people interact with other people. What can I do? What can we do to make everyone do their really best and help each other? I think that's the big beginning of my career.
Now let's talk about the company that you guys created. So I want to know a bit about the company itself. What do you guys do?
CloudNet is a managed hosting company. We help developers. We know our technology. We try to be absolute the best in technology, but we also focus in support. Helping people is our goal. That's what we do the best. So lots of our competitors are focusing on lower the price, have bigger and bigger volume, but decreasing the personnel, the real support. What we try to do is keep the best technology, but also the best support by having real humans, real great skilled humans that helps the developers. We ourselves also know how to develop stuff. We do it all the time, but we also have this passion about helping other people, helping other developers. Yeah, that's what we do.
Anders, what is your take?
Yeah, we provide a hosting platform for all kinds of applications, and our main focus is to help developers and make their life easier by covering all the system administration and system troubleshooting tasks, so they can focus on their job and creating great websites.
Awesome. So I feel that you are keeping developers in the center. But if you look at hosting providers, there are already so many hosting providers. So when and why, what problem you saw in the space, as you guys were telling that you yourself come from that same background. So what is specific problem you saw with all those providers, which you were trying to solve, and that you're like, hey, you know what, we have to do something, and that's when you created the company. Can you talk about that?
We want to make the life for the developers as easy as possible and offloading as many tasks as possible so that we can be an extension of the developer team. So we see ourselves as your outsourced DevOps team. So we'll be working closely with the developers and helping out with things that maybe is not that easy. If you're a developer, you might not have all the system administration experience that might be needed for some tasks, and we will fill that gap.
Now, can you emphasize a bit on how exactly do you make designers and developers' lives easier?
So support, it's all about support. We know our thing. If you call us or give us a ticket or something, you can be really certain that we will be able to handle this. We try to have this one-stop call. So if you call someone, that person that answered that call will be able to help you directly, and not just ask someone else or get back to you or whatever. We really try our best to help you and make sure that everything, it doesn't matter if it's our problem or if it's whoever's fault it is. This is the customers and our problem together. So we try to solve it regardless what happens in the beginning. So, and that, another thing is that we also, because we have the knowledge, we know what type of problems you will run into. We know how to scale. We know what happens. You are a developer, you're sitting on your personal computer and you develop a web page. What will happen when you have thousands of visitors? Probably you will run into different kind of problems, not just the one that you have in your own development environment. And we can help you with a typical thing that we help you with performance. And another thing we can help you with is what can I say? Okay, we can help you with the DevOps things. We can help you with deploying stuff. Pipelines, how can you set up your best developer how can you set up your how can you set up a good deployment pipeline that makes sure that everything is tested before you go live and stuff like that. We know how to do it, and we do it all the time. So that's a big thing that we help customers with.
As you guys said, you already come from that background, so you do know their pain points, where are the bottlenecks. At the same time, as Magnus, you're saying that it really doesn't matter what is the cause of the problem, whether the problem is at the customer end or the problem is the infrastructure. You are a problem solver for them. You will just look at the problem and try to solve it for them so that they don't have to worry about, because if you look at these developers who are using your infrastructure, all they want is to run their applications, which can add some business value to them and offer those services to their users. They should spend all of their time in adding that value, not in doing a lot of plumbing. That doesn't even matter to a user. All your user want, if you are, let's say, Airbnb kind of service, all they want is click, book, and be done. That's how you can add. So you're playing a very critical role there. Now, what I heard from you, Magnus, earlier, you're talking about that you seem to be more centered on people. That's what you said initially also. So when you talk about companies like yours, versus if you pick a big company, I would give a very good cattle versus pet analogy here, because for a lot of big companies, you are just a cattle, There are like 1 million clients and you are just one more client. You go there, drop down, select, and done. But I think here what you're doing is every customer, no offense, is like a pet, You care about them. So can you talk about how do you differentiate yourself from those big players where every customer matters to you? It's not like, hey, you know what? There are a lot of buttons. Go and pick the buttons that work for you. Here we are going to talk to you and solve solve your problem?
Yeah, one key thing that we really think it's the biggest value for CloudNet is that if you're a customer for CloudNet, then you are under our wings, you could say. Anything that happens to you, anything that happens to your web page, we will help you. It doesn't matter if it's we don't see it as your problem or our problem. It's our problem together, and it doesn't matter whose fault it is. We will solve it, and we do this all day long. We know exactly how things work. We are the best in web applications and websites. We know what typical problems that you will see and how we can solve them also. So it doesn't matter if you have another provider that screwed up. We will still help you with that.
No matter how good you are at personally solving a problem, you also need a very reliable infrastructure to run those solutions. Otherwise, if the infrastructure is not powerful enough, no matter how nice you are. So can you talk about what kind of infrastructure you are running there to serve your customers?
Our service is added on top of cloud providers, and our favorite provider is Linode. So they will be dealing with the servers and the hardware and the data centers, and that means that we can put all our effort into providing a great platform and providing great customer support for our customers. We never have to worry about anything hardware related.
We're a small crew, and we're very, very tight, the whole company. So we really is dependent on providers that we can count on. It doesn't matter if it's whatever provider it is. And infrastructure, network, and service, of course, that's our main thing. So we really need to be able to know that if there's a problem with the network, a problem with the provider, we will get help from them.
Which Linode data center are you using?
We're mostly using the Frankfurt data center. We have quite a few customers in London, but it depends on the target audience for the website or the web applications. We try to put it where the most of the traffic is. So for our American customers, we try to put them somewhere that's relevant for their audience.
Do you also have to worry about GDPR in Europe, because so that you pick and choose the data centers so that it doesn't really create any conflict there, or it doesn't matter?
It's a tricky question, but we are compliant with GDPR, and that then we have to put it in somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, for the European market, GDPR is really important. Our North America customers, they don't care about GDPR, of course. But for the European countries, you have to be GDPR compliant.
Linode is not the only player in the space. What was some of the key factors that you kind of looked into when you picked Linode? Why they stood out?
Linode share the same philosophy as CloudNet, I would say, because if you call Linode or if you call CloudNet, there are real people that are answering. There are real people that know how to handle your problem and your situation. And there's lots of other companies that you will never get in touch with a technician. You will only get in touch with some frontline help support that doesn't know anything about your problem and your situation. And then they just want to get rid of your ticket, and they do everything they know they can to close it. Linode doesn't work that way. The same as CloudNet doesn't work that way. So for us to be able to help our customers, we need the help from our providers.
So I think in Linode, you found a company similar to CloudNet. You do have same philosophy. You treat your customer the same way. That's great. Now, Linode also offers a wide range of services, and they keep adding a lot of new services. And they also have data centers around the globe. So can you talk about which data center you are using and what kind of Linode services that you are leveraging to help your customers or users?
We mainly use their virtual servers, the cloud servers. For some projects, we use the load balancers, and we also starting to use their new Kubernetes service for some more demanding e-commerce customers.
Because if you look at, as you're talking, you also help them with the DevOps pipeline, and those needs depend on what kind of workload you're running. You do want to leverage all those new technology that are coming up. You want software defined storage, you want Kubernetes, and then you don't know where you want to go with all those microservices infrastructure. So this is also a company which is well positioned to bring all those latest technologies instead of having an old monolith where you don't have any room to grow. So that also helps a lot. Now we know about you guys, we know about what you do, we also know how you leverage Linode, but we don't know anything who is using your services. So I want to know about, if you can share, who are your typical customers, and at the same time, who would be, for whom CloudNet would be the ideal place to work with. So what kind of users are kind of target audience for you? So start with who is using it and what kind of user should pick you.
Our main target is organizations and companies that are dependent on their website. So they want good quality in their hosting, they want a reliable hosting, and they want a partner that will take responsibility no matter what happens. And so they're not looking for the cheapest solution. They want a good service. That is our target customer.
CloudNet's typical customer is a company that they want to focus in developing things, while CloudNet will take care of their things. So if anything happens, they should be able to sleep well, no worries. They should know that anything that happens, CloudNet will be there, and things will go wrong. That's the thing with IT. But if something breaks, they should have the feeling that someone else is looking into this right now, someone that really knows how to solve this. So feel secure.
If you look at tech part, every company can offer the same technology that you offer. What they cannot offer is the experience that you offer. And from what I felt was that interpersonal relationship support, that is critical. So if I just want you to say, hey, can you just summarize one thing that differentiates CloudNet from its competitors, what would that be?
CloudNet is a very tight team. So if you call anyone or send in a ticket, our personnel is really skilled in this. So everyone here knows how PHP works. Everyone knows how Node.js works. We know how to develop stuff. We also have all the situations we have seen, all the things that our other customers have made mistakes. We know this, so we can manage to help you almost directly with anything, performance issues, reliability issues.
Anders, Magnus, thank you so much for taking your time out today and talk about not only CloudNet, but also how you're leveraging Linode to help your customers. Because if you look at it, in the end, it matters to the users, what kind of experience they get. It really doesn't matter what technologies you use. What matters is what experience they get from you. And, it looked like, a great team there. So once again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.